Today we are going to discuss health checks. Health checks. You can see on the screen. What is this health check all about? Checking the health of a container. Simple meaning of health check is checking the health of a container. So why we need to check the health? Make sure that container is running fine. If container is fine, then only pod will be fine. Correct or not? See, this is container. Container will be inside pod. If container is healthy, then only pod will be healthy. Correct or not? So we need to make sure that container is running fine. For that, we need to check the health of containers every now and then. If you lose a container, then you will lose pod as well. Correct or not? Pod is ready only when all of its containers are ready. I'm repeating. Pod will be considered as healthy when all containers inside that pod are healthy. Okay? So if you lose your container, you will lose your pod, then deployment object will create new pod. Correct or not? So here we don't have any problem. But problem comes when container is ready. But if it gets stuck or becomes unresponsive, sometimes it happens, right? Your laptop, when you do so many operations, laptop is in power on condition only, but it will not take your input. It gets stuck. Correct or not? It happens many times. Here also same thing. Container is ready, but sometimes it gets stuck or becomes unresponsive. Obviously, when it gets stuck, then it will become unresponsive. If it gets stuck or because of any reason, if it becomes unresponsive or if it stops accepting the load. Let's say my web container is there. Web container. Web container is running fine, but inside service is not running. If service is not running, then it cannot accept customers' load, customers' traffic, correct or not? Then what is the use? There is no use. Container is running, but there is of no use. So because of any of these reasons, if container is not working fine, then we have to check the health. Only three reasons, remember this. If container gets stuck, or because of any reason, if it becomes unresponsive, or if it stops accepting the load, then there's an issue. So we have to check the health of the container. See, in these cases, deployment object won't create new pod. Because if you lose your pod, then deployment object creates new pod. But in these cases, your pod is ready, but it is not working fine. Then deployment object will not create new pod. Correct? Then even though my pod is there is of no use. Then how to deal with this kind of situation? So for that, we have health checks are there. So we have two types of health checks are there. One is liveness probe and the one is readiness probe. Probe means check. So either you can use the word liveness check, readiness check, or liveness probe, readiness probe. So liveness probe checks whether your container is running fine or not. It is running fine or not. That means it handles these two. It handles these two, whether it is stuck or if it is unresponsive. If this check fails, then we'll come to that, okay, container got stuck or it became unresponsive. We'll come to know. What is readiness check? Readiness check means what? Container is running fine, but it is not accepting customers' traffic. See, it checks container is ready to take the load or not. That is very important. Okay, let me repeat. Liveness check verifies whether your container is running fine or not. Readiness check, it verifies whether your container is ready to take customers' load or not. Got it? That is what happens here. So mainly if you have a web container, if it is not accepting customers' traffic, then this check will be failed. If container gets stuck, it is not even responding, then this check will be failed. Understood? So how do we check these health checks? By running some commands. Just by running some commands. Okay, I'll show you, then you'll understand. What happens if health check fails? If liveness check fails, then container either will be restarted, or if it unable to restart, then new container will be created, recreate. Generally, if our laptop gets stuck, then what generally we do? We restart our laptop. Still it is not working fine, then we'll take our laptop to repair shop. Correct? Here also, if liveness check fails, either Kubernetes try to restart the container or it will create a new container if it unable to restart. Readiness check. What if readiness check fails? Then first it will mark this container as not ready, so that customer's request will not be routed to that particular container. I'm repeating. First, Kubernetes marks that container as not ready, so that traffic will not be routed to that particular container. Then it will either restart the container or recreate the container. If it unable to restart, then it will recreate the container. Understood? That is how it works. So as I told you, right, how this health check works, we are going to run some commands. We run one command. If it returns 0, then yes, health check is fine. Health is good. If it returns non-zero, then container is unhealthy. If it returns 0, means container is healthy. If it returns non-zero output, means any number, 1, 2, 3, 4, any number except 0, then container is unhealthy. If at all it returns, that command returns non-zero, then Kubernetes, what it does, either it will recreate the container or restart the container. Understood? Fine. So let's do it, guys. Then only you'll understand. kubectl get all. Do you have anything running here? No, we don't have anything as of now. Okay. I'm going to create one manifest. Whatever name that you want, you can give. I'm giving Liveness Pro, in which let me paste the script. See how pasted the script? Now let me explain what is happening here. Kind, I'm creating pod object. This comes under version v1 and name of the pod is my pod. That already you know. So I'm creating one pod. Inside this pod, I'm creating one container, my container. Having Ubuntu image, I'm just creating one file. I'm giving sleep command for 10,000, means it will just create a file. After that, it will not take any action. Okay. So I'm creating one file. Now coming to liveness probe. Liveness means what? It checks whether your container is running fine or not. Running fine or not. If it gets stuck or if it is unresponsive, then this check will be failed. Then what actually happens? Kubernetes will try to restart the container or it will try to recreate the container. Correct? This is what liveness probe related section. I told you, right? We just give some commands. So liveness probe executing what command? That command either you can give in a single line or each word you give as a list of items. Cat tmp my file. If I write this one here, that is going to be a single command. Or each word you can give in one line. That is completely your wish. Okay. So in companies, sometimes people they give each word in a different line. That time you should not get confused. That's why here also I'm giving that command in different lines. So what actually I'm trying to do? Here I'm creating a file. Under temp, I'm creating a file called my file. Then I'm trying to open that file, cat/temp my file. Whatever file I'm creating here, that file I'm opening. Now here our intention is not to open that file. It is just an empty file. Intention is to check the health. How we are checking? If file is there, then only it can open that file. Correct or not? Right? That means this command output will be success. Success means what? Zero output. Correct or not? Zero. Let's say if file is not there or container become unresponsive, it gets stuck, then this command output will be failed output, then it gets non-zero output. Understanding, right? Let me repeat. It's a bit tricky, try to understand here. Here I am creating a file. Now I am opening that file. If content is running successfully without any issues, then this command will get executed properly. Then if file is there means this command output will be successful. File inside nothing is there, but command we can run, it won't give any error. Success output, that means it returns 0. That means, yes, container is running fine. Let's say file is missing or container got stuck or it is unresponsive, then it can't able to run this command. Correct? Then output will be error. It gets error output. Error output means what? Non-zero value, right? So then what actually happens? Kubernetes automatically will try to restart the same container or it will recreate the container. Okay, so when it verifies, when it runs this command, see here, period seconds, 5. Now it ran this command. File is there, it tried to open that file, success, no issues, fine. But after a couple of seconds or minutes, maybe my container goes down, it might get stuck again. So that's why I need to verify every now and then. That's what period seconds means, 5 seconds. So I want to run this command after every 5 seconds. See, run the command after every 5 seconds. So after every 5 seconds, this command will be executed. After every 5 seconds, keeps checking the health of that container. So when we create a container, the moment you apply kubectl apply, then immediately pod won't be ready, container won't be ready. It takes some seconds, correct or not? So once I run kubectl apply command, after that, don't run this command immediately. Please wait for 5 seconds. See, every day I'm starting class little bit late. Let's say our class timings are 9:30 p.m. I'm starting at 9:37 or 9:38. Why I'm taking the break of that 5 to 6 minutes so that everyone will be ready. You will keep things ready and you will be ready to listen my class. If I start exactly at 9:30, some of you might miss introduction of my class. When you try to join, sometimes this Zoom link takes some time to open, or your laptop might take some updates initially for 2 to 3 minutes, right? So you might face some audio issues initially. So what I do, that's why I'm taking a break of some 5 to 7 minutes so that during this time you ready and you verify everything is perfect or not, right? If I start exactly at 9:30 p.m., then you will lose introduction class. Even when you go to movie timing is exactly at 9:30. They won't start exactly at 9:30. They start at 9:40 or 9:45. Correct or not? Right? Here also same thing. So once I apply, then wait for 5 seconds. After 5 seconds onwards, then keep running this command after every 5 seconds. When I apply kubectl apply command, when I run, immediately don't run this command. First wait for 5 seconds. So that during in these 5 seconds, my container and pod will be ready. After that, then keep running this command after every 5 seconds. Every 5 seconds, keep checking the health of my container. That is what initial delay seconds 5. Whatever number you give, it will wait for those many seconds initially. Period second means how frequently this command should run. That's the meaning. Whatever number you want, you can give. Then what is timeout seconds? Sometimes when this command gets executed, sometimes it may not get quick response. What if sometimes this command execution it takes some time? Sometimes when you run that command, we get in output immediately. But when we run that command, the command execution itself takes some time. Correct or not? So what I'm saying, after running this command, please wait for at least 30 seconds to get the output. So let's say this command itself got stuck. Then it can't get output immediately. Correct or not? That time, don't take any action. Please wait for 30 seconds. Wait for 30 seconds to get the response for this command, whether it is success output or failed output. Understanding, right? Let me just summarize. In this, what actually happens? This file will be created. That file will be opened every now and then. Let's say if container file is missing or container got stuck or it became unresponsive, then this command won't get executed. Then it will get failed output. Correct or not? Then Kubernetes either will try to recreate the container or restart the container. So how frequently this command should run? After executing apply command, when I run apply command, initially it should wait for 5 seconds so that my pod and container will be ready. Then after that, this command should be executed after every 5 seconds. Then sometimes this command also might get stuck. That time, after running this command, please wait for 30 seconds to get the response, whether it is success or failed output. Simple. Simple here, it just creates a file. After that, it takes a break of 10,000 seconds. That's it. It won't do anything. Or in place of it, you can give our while loop also. Just hello Sai, like that. But here, my focus is not to create the file. My focus is with the help of just this file to verify the health of the file. That's it. What we are checking? We are checking liveness probe here. Liveness. Now, just come out of it. Let's apply kubectl. Apply -f liveness probe. That's it. Now verify kubectl get all. So my pod is running absolutely fine. Inside that container, 1 out of 1 container is running fine. Okay, running fine means what? Continuously that command is being executed continuously after every 5 seconds. And it is getting success output. That's why here it is showing as running successfully. Okay, you can use describe command, kubectl describe pod and the pod name, my pod. Okay, see, everything is fine. Health check is fine. See, this is what liveness check. It is checking. How it is checking the health? Just by running this command. And whatever timing that we have going, delay seconds, timeout, periods, and all. You can see. Now, what is that zero output, non-zero output? That's what I'm going to show you now. For example, here we have so many manifests. So here itself, let me create one file. I'm creating a file called Sai file. I'm creating one file called Sai file. After creating file, you can open that file, right? You can, I mean, no content is there, but you can open the file. Then run echo dollar question mark. This is how we check whether we get a success output or failed output. We are getting 0. That means what? The previous command output was successful. Let's say, let me remove that file, rm-rf sai file. We don't have that file. Now cat sai file, failed output, right? How machine checks whether it is success output or fail output? After that, it runs this command, echo dollar question mark. It's a non-zero value, right? That means the previous command got failed output. But here, it was, output was successful. So this is how machine verifies whether a command output is success or fail. The result, success output or failed output. That is how machine verifies. Inside Kubernetes also, that is how machine verifies. Here, cat liveness probe. Here also, if a file is there, then only it can open that file. It is opening the file means what? Success output, 0 output. Means health check is fine. Let's say file is not there, or container got stuck, or it is unresponsive, then it can't run this command. Then failed output something like this. Then non-zero output. That means indication is health check failed. Then Kubernetes immediately, it will try to restart the same container, or if it is not working fine, then it will recreate another container. Got it? So that is how it works. Now let's go inside this particular container. See here, kubectl exec my pod. I'm going inside this particular container. You don't have to give container details because in this pod we have only one container, so you don't have to give container details. I'm inside the container. Inside this container, where did we create that file? Under temp, we have created the file, my file. Correct or not? So try to open that file, cat under temp, my file. See, file is there. That's why I'm opening the file. No error here. This is how system is verifying. Dollar question mark. That means right now, Kubernetes is continuously getting 0 output. That's why health check is fine. What I do, let me delete this particular file. rm-rf under temp. I'm deleting this file intentionally. Now, can you open this file? Getting failed output. Then system is verifying like this. So non-zero output here. Correct or not? That means right now this particular container's health is failed. I told you, right? Either file is missing or container became unresponsive or it gets stuck. Any of these reasons, then this container either will get restarted or new container will be created. That's what I said. So here now file is missing. Correct? Okay, let's come out of it. I came out of this container. Now verify kubectl get all. Kubectl describe. Use describe command. Kubectl describe pod, my pod. Now what actually happened? Initially the container was running fine. Then after that liveness probe failed. Correct? Liveness probe failed. It unable to run this command. It got failed output. Correct? So it tried to restart. But restarting will not get the file again. File was missing. Even if it restarts, that restarting cannot get file back. Correct or not? So if it creates new container, then only it will get that file back. That's why again it pulled the image, then it created a new container. Understood? That is what actually happening. So here you can see the logs. Whether that same container got restarted or new container got created, it shows. You can see created container, then that created container got started. This is what liveness check. Understood? So let me delete this file. kubectl delete. That means initially earlier we used to write replica set, replication controller, deployment. Along with those things, we keep this setup as well. Along with those things, inside container, we keep in that template, we keep this one as well. Okay, this entire portion. I mean, from here, at least from command onwards, the whole thing we keep in that template. So that along with deploying application inside container, one file will be created. File has nothing to do here. This file is helping us to verify whether that container is healthy or not. Understood? Fine. So now delete this one. That's it. Now we are going to discuss readiness check. Once it is over, then we'll start. Okay, readiness check. Yeah. Deleted.